He goes, that Rottweiler ass Frank just knocked somebody out, blah, 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 blah.
What did that do for you when you saw the Tupac hologram?
Pac would not have been down with that.
So do you think that we will ever find out who was Pac's murderer?
Absolutely. Hey, what's up? This is Frank Alexander. You checking out Thisis50.com. What's up, West Side?
This nigga was Tupac friend for real.
The blessing's right around the corner. All you got to do is go around the corner and pick it up instead of tripping over it. You know, they're there. It's unfortunate that you know, Pac was taken out the way that he was, but I'm going to tell you something about that. I firmly believe in, if you speak on something long enough, one, the devil hears everything we say. Okay, the only thing he can't do is read our mind. All right, Pac spoke a lot about his death, and he spoke a lot on how he was going to die. You know, for example, in you know, his lyrics, he say, "I'm gonna you know, die holding my nuts." And the first thing he did, man, and this is no joke, I'll never forget it, man. It's like heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. When we pulled him out of the car after he was shot, he took his hands, after we laid him on the ground, took him out of the car. He was laying there, right? He was like almost unconscious, but he was still moving. And he took his hands and he did just like this. And he goes, and I'm kneeling down, right? Trying to, you know, talk to him and stuff. And he goes, I can't breathe. You couldn't breathe because that lung, you couldn't get air, you know? And that was the last thing I ever heard him say.
Used to live right down the street. We filmed Juice down the street. You know what I'm saying? We filmed above the rim around, like about 10 blocks from around here. Dude, this 3-man theory's the gate. You can picture your boy just sitting here like, yo, we ain't going back to class. You going back to class, man?
Kurupt, he was young. Kurupt was kind of wild back then, man, but Kurupt was my boy, man. Kurupt was a good dude. But he got out of line. I'll never forget this. We were on tour, and we were in New Orleans.
Got out of line.
Yeah, man, we're in New Orleans. And they would do stuff like this. They would take away their privileges. They wouldn't pay them, or they couldn't eat, or they would take off their death row pendant. They would take that from them. You know, they would get into some kind of trouble or whatever. They screwed up. They did stuff in the hotel, and you know, come back to Suge, and something was wrong. Oh yeah, they got disciplined like they were like somebody's child. You know, like for real talk.
So what kind of guy is Suge Knight? If you was just to sum him up.
Okay, I can't speak on Suge today, being 2013.
Right.
But in 1996, when we were with Suge, I will give Suge this. Suge was very pro security, and he told the studio manager, his name was Kevin. He told Kevin was from Chicago also. He told Kevin, he said, security runs this studio. He goes, you're the manager, you're in charge, but security is really in charge and runs this studio. What security says goes. You know, we didn't do anything beyond our job though. You know, we didn't take the role of like that going to our head. There was many times that I had conversations with Suge, or he would call me in his office, or he came on the set of Gridlock when we were on the set, and he would come to me and he would say, look here, Frank, you're doing a really good job with Pac. We talk a lot about you. You know, your name come up a lot. He really like you. He he told me this one time, you get it Reggie, man, and he called him Reg. He goes, you get it Reg, you tell Reg that I want you to be put on salary. I want you to get a salary. He goes, I don't want you on an hourly. So I got back at Reggie and I told him that. He was like, shh, nigga, you getting what you get. And I was like, no, man, Suge said he want me on salary, man. And I'm going to tell him if you don't put me on salary. So he put me on salary then.
Word.
That $16 was gone. He put me on salary. But from my experience, okay, with Suge, things were good with Suge. The only time when things changed was after the shooting, okay? And I'm not even going to say that some of that was understandable. To a certain degree and point it was, but at the same time, Suge was being misled with information that wasn't being given to him on like what happened that day in meetings that we had, and we were told not to carry out weapons that day and that night. We were told only 3 of us could carry weapons and to leave them in our car because of this benefit that they was having for this boxer, and this and that, which wasn't, so much the case, but they couldn't have after parties. And every fight after a Tyson fight, the after party was at Club 662. In this particular time when I got to Vegas the night before September 6th, on September 7th, we had a meeting at this attorney's office. And at this attorney's office, his name was George Clinesis, something like that. And we were told by him, this attorney, that we couldn't carry out guns and this and that, blah, 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 to the club that night. And it was 3 of us, like Michael Moore was one of them, myself, and Al Gittins, who is still with Snoop to this day, said, no, we carrying our guns. We're going to, we worked it out to where we were going to carry our guns, but we were going to have to leave them in our car while we were inside the club. Okay. And that's how my gun ended up in my car and not on my person that day. And I didn't have time to get my gun because my gun was on the other side of the valet where I had parked earlier that day. And when Pac and Suge was ready to go, they were ready to go, and I couldn't get to my car. I had a SL 500 also, at that time. And I couldn't get to it, so I didn't have it. And Pac, I was getting in the car with Pac and Suge. I literally had my hand on the back door, opening the back door. And Pac stopped me and turned and said, hey, Frank, here's the keys to Kadada's car. You go drive with the Outlaws so you could be our designated driver and drive us back after we leave the club tonight, from drinking. And I was like, all right. So, that was...
That's how that went down.
That's how that went down.
Wow.
And he was actually my guardian angel also that night, because I would have been in the back seat, not sitting here with books, documentaries, or talking to you or any other interviews I've ever done.
Because that back seat was sprayed, right?
That was the first part of the car that was sprayed.
Right.
I would have been in the back seat with no gun.
Tupac and others attack an L.A. gang member in a hotel lobby after a Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas.
Now, why don't you believe that Orlando Anderson was the one that's killed Pac after, y'all beat him up?
I'm not saying that he didn't. I never said that he did not do it. I said that, let me take you through a scenario.
Okay.
Right? You seen Minister Society?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to the scene as Minister Society. Remember when old boy was screwing the girl and
it was his cousin.
She said,
she was
I'm going to
pregnant.
go. She said she was pregnant. And he goes, no, you ain't pregnant. I had the Jimmy on extra tight.
Right.
Look, you the only one I was with.
Stop lying, all right? Besides, I had the Jimmy on extra tight.
He goes, nah, blah, 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 and hang up on it. She goes, I want to tell my cousin on you, nigga. So she told her cousin. The cousin goes over by himself. Him and Lorenzo Tate was coming out of the projects, right? He goes, yo, who's Kane?
Oh, cool. That boy out there.
Hey, which one of y'all is Kane?
He goes, me, I'm Kane. He goes, what's up? He was like, yo, man, my cousin is so-and-so.
Hey, well, check this out. I'm Alina's cousin, partner. She don't like the way you've been dogging her, and I don't either.
And he was like, well, you getting all up on him. So what happened? They get into the fight. And what happened? Both of them beat him down.
Right.
They kicked him and did all that shit, right? Beat him down. So what did he do? They hook up Kane and Jada Pinkett. They're going to move. They're going to go to Atlanta, whatever. They're going to start over. That day that they're moving, him and his homeboys come back, and they sprayed him up, right? Killed him. That same thing, to me, I wrote in my book, and I use as an example, right? That just like in movies, we have real life scenarios that play itself out later, okay? Because what happened with Orlando Anderson, we get in, we leave the fight, Pac get into the fight, and the whole entourage is the film shows from the MGM is fighting Orlando Anderson, kicking him and everything. He's down. So what is Orlando Anderson gonna do? He's a Crip. He's gonna go back and grab his homeboys to come back to do what? Get revenge.
Right.
Same exact thing that happened in the movie. He got beat down, kicked down, go get his homeboys, come back, get revenge. Shoot them all up. Okay. I'm not saying that Orlando Anderson wasn't the shooter, because I don't know. I know that there was the perfect motive at that time, because that's the way I saw it and the way I thought about it. Orlando Anderson is dead. He got killed in a shootout in a gas station, right, in Compton. So he wasn't around long enough to say that he did it.
So do you think that we will ever find out who was Pac's murderer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
And how are we going to get to the bottom of that?
Okay. Because I was a part of Tupac's life, and everyone that was a part of his life, in our death, God reveals everything in our life to us in our judgment. And he's going to reveal, and I'm going to see who killed Tupac. Okay, that's one. Two, we may in our time see some justice. Murder is it's an unsolved murder investigation, and there's no statute of limitations on murder. Whoever killed Tupac and Biggie, they could walk in to any police department right now and say, here's a murder weapon, I did it. Do you know they cannot be arrested?
They cannot be arrested.
Cannot.
Why?
Too much evidence, too much exposure, too much theories, too many stories that have been out there that people can say, I'm the one, I did it. Well, okay. You have to give all of the specifics. And you have to really prove, and the police got to really have a solid case, because a DA won't take the case.
In just a few minutes, we'll bring you exclusive new information in the killing of Tupac Shakur.
Don't let the west side ride the nut.
Is there anything you want to tell the people before we get up out of here?
You know, I have something, dude, that is really, really, really special to me. I like to read it off of my iPhone.
Sure.
Wrote this a long time ago. It says, change, a word used many times, yet too little effect. We got to make a change. It's time for us as a people to start making some changes. Let's change the way we eat. Let's change the way we live. And let's change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we got to do to survive. It's like reading one of Obama's speeches, isn't it? Yes, a black man wrote this. Yes, he was an American. But those aren't Obama's words. Those are the words of the late Tupac Shakur, my friend and my brother. He wrote those words and demanded change more than 16 years ago. So the main questions are, has anything changed thus far? If not, can Obama change things in his 4-year term and now his 8 years of presidency? Yes, we all agree we need to change, but to do that, we need to agree that we want to change, and then how we want to do it. But no one alone can make huge changes. We must all contribute to it, no matter how hard it is. But in this cushioned world we live in, when we are used to the good life, are we prepared to give up some of the commodities to help the greater good? Surely Herbert Spencer coined, and Darwin later borrowed the phrase, it's the survival of the fittest and not the survival of the one who gives up the most so they can rest and so they can enjoy. So only after we overcome our selfish side and we start making some changes, we must decide first on what we think is right and what we think is wrong in this world or in our lives. But doing that means coming together, which will be hard, if not impossible. It sure will take longer than we would like it. And even if at first things look like they change, is probably just a temporary patch. But some things look as they will never change, such as the wars in the Middle East. It has been going on for so long and too far so long, and it seems that no one can do anything about it, no matter how hard they or we try. In conclusion, time and only time will show if things have really changed. God bless. One God, one love, Big Frank.
That was you, dog.
Yeah, bro.
That was you.
Yeah.
Man, that was poetic, man.
Right.
Man, you was on some Tupac shit right there,
Right.
man. I dug that. Wow, man.
That's right. Yeah, man.
What more can you say?
That's it, brother. That's how I'd like to end that. Don't change us. That was my boy, man. That was him. Change.
Tupac, forever.
That's it.
Like I always say, you just can't say you're real or something. You got to be, man. I'm over here with Frank Alexander. We're over and we're out of here. Hey, do I have something in mind? Y'all go to commercial. And don't kiss the nose in the mouth.